What's going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back. Grindberg here with the Undroppables Network, bringing you episode 3 of the Chiefs Uncovered, part 1 of the Chiefs free agency preview. Today, we will be discussing the 5 most impactful defensive free agents the Chiefs have. I'm Grindberg, and I'll be here bringing you everything Chiefs related as your anchor. During the season, I will be here weekly bringing you breaking news, roster news, injury reports, matchup deep dives, game previews, game recaps, and game predictions. Like I mentioned on the last show, I want to bring some of you, the viewers, the die-hard members of Chiefs Kingdom, to come on the show and talk Chiefs ball. So if you're a passionate Chiefs fan and want a chance to talk about your favorite team on this platform, shoot me a direct message on Twitter at FFCanuck99, and I'll be sure to get you on the show. I'm kicking off this third show with the Chiefs news. Then we'll go over the salary cap increase and how it could possibly affect the Chiefs' offseason plans. And then we will go over the 5 most impactful free agents on the defense. And then we'll see what it'll take to get them back on the team. And then we will look down what we got cooking down the pipeline on the show for weeks to come. On our next show, we will be talking about part 2 of the Chiefs free agency preview, going over the offensive free agency preview show, going over the Chiefs' needs in their offense, potentially the players that could be walking and looking for new homes elsewhere. And without further ado, let's get the Chiefs free agency preview show going. I'm Grindberg, and this is the Chiefs Uncovered on the Undroppables Network. Fantasy football season never stops. Did you know you can already draft for the 2024 season on Underdog Fantasy, the easiest way to play fantasy football? The big board is a pre-draft fantasy football contest with all the incoming rookies in the player pool. Draft your team in 20 rounds, and that's it. Best ball formats, you get the optimal score to fill your starting lineup. A great way to get your dynasty startup draft fix without any league management. Only $10 to enter and over $2 million in prizes up for grabs. Be sure to sign up for Underdog with promo code UNDROPPABLE, and you'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. And now, back to the show. All right, folks, let's get into some breaking news. So the biggest thing here that we got to talk about, it's not just Chiefs news related. It has to do with the whole NFL, and it's the salary cap increase. So the NFL announced on Friday that the salary cap will increase to $255 million, a $30 million increase. Huge news for the Chiefs, who are trying to retain key pieces of their dynasty roster, right? Well, maybe. Well, this move by the NFL on the surface sounds like a great thing for all involved, but as we dig further into it, it really doesn't make a big difference in helping retain certain key pieces. The 2023 salary cap was $225.5 million. Instead, it has taken a jump significantly higher than even most optimistic projections at $255 million. There are some big questions about how this will actually affect the Chiefs' salary cap situation in retaining key in-house free agents like Chris Jones and Sneed, let alone bringing in some veteran wide receiver help. in reality, the Chiefs were able to win a second Super Bowl on a weakened defense and offensive line with a rookie wide receiver and an aging Travis Kelce. Are we really convinced that Brett Veach and his staff are concerned about bringing back the likes of Chris Jones when you consider how unmotivated they were to get a deal done for the 2023 season? It wasn't until Chris Jones saw his team lose week 1 to the Lions and jumped in to take the bull by the horns to help get that deal done. So to me, it seems that this management group thinks that their build within mentality and the way that it has drafted in the past 4 years, that it can sustain the losing these types of players in free agency. Even with the increase to the salary cap, I still think it will be a challenge for the Chiefs to retain Jones and Sneed at the same time and bring in a much needed help at wide receiver. All the teams are in the same situation now with these contracts. The players know that, and they will simply just ask for more money. So let's break down some of these key free agents down the line today. All right, so here we go. News article number 2, Chiefs sign coaching staff and keeping the band together for another season. This is fantastic news for the Kansas City Chiefs as they have improved their chances of repeating and by resigning a bunch of key pieces to their coaching staff. The Chiefs have given extensions to their beloved coaches, defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo. Spags was huge this year for us, as we know. That defense played lights out all the way through the playoffs, throughout the whole season. Really, they really shouldered the grunt of the work, especially in the first half of the season. Spags deserves it. A lot of people were thinking that he would be going and looking for a head coaching job. Not the case, or looking to keep that team together. And great news for the Chiefs and our fans here. They've kept the defensive line coach, Joe Cullen. This is great news. So they've now given extensions to special teams coordinator and assistant head coach Dave Taub. So as well. So these are really, really key pieces to the puzzle, and, continuing the continuity of a three-peat. So it's looking like Andy Reid will also be one to monitor as his contract moving forward. The man deserves an extension and a pay raise, considering when you think about things, Jim Harbaugh, the hiring there. Now Andy Reid is the third highest paid coach in the AFC West. That does not make any sense to me at this stage. So we will see where that contract goes from there. News article number 3 is the Chiefs sign a punter. This is pretty interesting. Okay, so the Chiefs sign former 2022 6th round pick Mac Araiza. So on Thursday, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the team's first notable move after its victory, the Super Bowl victory, a pretty savvy move if you ask me. Araiza, just like I mentioned earlier, was a drafted punter. He actually has a better leg than Townsend. He ran into some allegations which led him to be cut from the Bills. So he has been reinstated. Looks like the Chiefs could be getting a discount and an upgrade at the punter position. A nice cap-saving move if the writing is indeed on the wall for Townsend, whose agent is known to go for a big contract in his negotiations. Townsend could and probably is looking for a bigger payday. Not sure there are many cushier jobs than the punter of the Chiefs, but that's none of my business. Looking like Townsend's on his way out with this move by the Chiefs. Pretty savvy move by them, if you ask me. Not really Chiefs related, but kind of. Eric Biennemy is out of the NFL. Former Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Biennemy has found a new coaching home, is not going back to the Chiefs. There was some rumors of him maybe being able to be reinstated here with us in some capacity, but that is not going to happen. He is now going to be an associated head coach, offensive coordinator for the UCLA Bruins. And now let's break down some of these situations in free agency. So it's now time to focus on the Chiefs free agency and the 2024 NFL draft. 2 of Kansas City's top contributors, Chris Jones and L'Jarius Sneed, are set to hit the open market, and with just over $27 million in cap space available, it may prove to be difficult for the Chiefs to retain both of them. Let's dig deeper and focus on Jones and Sneed at first. And of course, we'll talk about 3 other defensive players that made big impacts for the Chiefs in this season. So let's talk about number 1. Now, number 1 is impact player. Number 1, the most important one to sign here, and that is Chris Jones. The Chiefs' first order of business will be deciding what to do with Chris Jones. They will need to make a decision fast. I expect them to have something sorted out in the next couple of weeks. Free agency starts on the 13th, and they will need to know by then what their plans are. This year's defensive line class is very thin and is not looking great. It will take Charles Omenihu some time to recover from his ACL injury well into the 2024 season. So this defensive line could look ugly if they don't address the Jones situation now. This is priority number 1 for the Chiefs. The 29-year-old defensive tackle is set to be a free agent and is seeking to become one of the highest paid players at the position. I think the Chiefs could give a similar offer to Jones, that they did around the $30 million mark. Jones loves KC and is a well-known name here. Going for a three-peat could also give the Chiefs the edge, getting them a little bit of a homegrown discount. Not sure Jones is going to get a monstrous deal compared to what the Chiefs can offer him, especially if they decide to tag him. Jones is expected to get a $4 million incentive paycheck that is tacked on to the 2024 season for the Chiefs. Jones has played a key role in the Kansas City's success over the last 6 years and is a cornerstone player from this formidable defense. Brett Veach exercised the Kansas City option on Jones's contract, which is just a formality when we talk about the contract that he signed last year. Jones' projected franchise tag would be $32 million, but when you include the incentives the Chiefs need to pay him as part of the 2023 deal, that $4 million in incentives will count towards the 2024 Chiefs salary cap. If the Chiefs decide to tag Jones, it would look more like a $36 million cap hit, making it very unlikely the Chiefs will tag their star defensive tackle unless they can restructure some contracts, the Chiefs' current ones like they have with Mahomes or Jawan Taylor. Time is ticking for the Chiefs as free agency opens up on the 13th. However, league tampering starts on the 11th. Jones is a pivotal first domino that needs to fall. We will be paying close attention to this situation. The combine can be the first indicator on what the Chiefs plan to do. Now, impact player number 2. So impact player number 2 for the defensive side is L'Jarius Sneed. He is also set to be a free agent this season and has earned a massive payday after an outstanding 2023 campaign where he allowed just 2 touchdowns. The only saving grace for the Chiefs is that Sneed got snubbed from the Pro Bowl, which would have further inflated his price. My guess is that Sneed is the player the Chiefs decide to franchise tag. If the Chiefs do decide to franchise tag Sneed, his cap hit would balloon to $18.4 million in 2024, far surpassing his $2.7 million that he got paid last season. It is possible that the Kansas City Chiefs could retain both Jones and Sneed, but this scenario would hinge on getting an extension done by Jones first and then tagging Sneed. So Trent McDuffie's emergence as a lockdown cornerback could make it easier for Veach and company and the Chiefs front office to move on from Sneed, especially given Kansas City's stellar track record of developing young defensive backs in recent years. They have, Trent McDuffie, who is already a leader on the team. They also have recently given Josh Williams and Jaden Watson more playing time as they earn their spots. Sneed could be inevitable casualty if the Chiefs decide to invest heavily on Chris Jones. So only time will tell. Now, impact player number 3. Let's talk about Willie Gay. So first came Gay's tweet indicating his last game at Arrowhead after the Chiefs beat the Dolphins in the divisional round. Gay, who missed 4 games in 2023, serving a suspension for violating the personal conduct policy, the Chiefs' linebacking core could look quite different if they can't strike deals with the 2 pending free agent linebackers. Gay is the more likely to chase the money and should be looking for a decent raise when you consider his current contract maxed out this year at $1.25 million. The current average NFL linebacker is $4.5 million in salary, and Gay could garner upwards of $7 million if he decides to test the open market. The 2020 second round draft pick played 2023 on his last season of his rookie deal. So the athletic linebacker ends his tenure with 233 tackles. The guy was a beast. Hopefully we can re-sign him, but it's not looking good at this stage. If Gay decides to jump ship and chase the money and over the three-peat, then it would be even more imperative that they work out an extension for Nick Bolton. They would also need to make a larger push at retaining the next free agent we're going to talk about. The Chiefs couldn't afford to replace 2 linebackers, could they? Impact player number 4. Now let's talk about impact player number 4, Drue Tranquill. After being drafted in the 4th round of the 2019 NFL draft by the Chargers, coming off a career year, Tranquill signed a pretty awesome deal with the Chiefs that paid the Chiefs off really big. We recorded 78 tackles, 7 quarterback hits, 4.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. Pretty awesome, if you ask me, for the contract he was on. Tranquill isn't a big name like Gay, so he won't garner huge attention in free agency, and he could be the most likely and easiest out of the bunch to sign. Tranquill played a critical role on defense when Nick Bolton was out with injury, and the versatility he provides cannot be understated. Now, he'll have to weigh his options moving forward and decide whether he's going to go for back-to-back Super Bowls. Is it enough? Who knows? We'll see what happens. Now, impact player number 5. So impact player number 5 for the Chiefs is Mike Danna. Mike Danna is another Chiefs homegrown player who they've developed and drafted. Mike Danna might not be a household name, but he's a valuable member of the Chiefs pass rush since joining the team as a 5th round pick in 2020. He set a new career high by playing 747 defensive snaps last season. He's just always available. He's effective. Danna finished with 6.5 sacks. He's a good run defender who can win in all situations on the field. So Danna, he's a weapon that we're going to need to look at, keeping, but likely he will require a pay raise. And I just don't think the Chiefs can afford to do that at this stage of the game. So we've talked about 5 impact defensive players. There's quite a few others, but these are the most important ones that they're going to have to figure out what's going to happen in the next couple days here in the next month, because the first one here, Chris Jones, is the big one. Once he goes down, we will see what happens with the rest of the defensive front. And I think that's the first domino that, ultimately needs to fall for the rest of them to fall too. So that's why I kind of held off on talking about the Chiefs offensive players this week, because once the Chris Jones news hits, we'll be able to kind of dissect where they stand with their cap and everything like that, talking about the offensive players. So our next show will be previewing the offensive Chiefs free agents. We will be going over people like Jerick McKinnon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Mecole Hardman, and Donovan Smith. So thanks for joining, everybody. That is it for part 1 of our free agency preview episode of the Chiefs Uncovered. I appreciate you for tuning in. You will be able to find this show on the Undroppables Network moving forward. The plan is to give you continuous content throughout the offseason and ramping it up as soon as the season starts. The Undroppables are looking for anchors to drop NFL team-specific content. Follow us on socials and find out how you can be part of this elite team. Our turf, your content, their game. Let's fucking go, guys. Let's do this. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and also follow me on X at FFCanuck99. That is it for today. I will be back next time with the Chiefs offensive free agency preview show. From everybody on the Undroppables Network, I'm Grindberg. Thanks for tuning in.